China National Petroleum Corporation is a Chinese state-owned oil and gas corporation and the largest integrated energy company in China. Its headquarters are in Dongcheng District, Beijing. CNPC is the parent of PetroChina, the fourth largest company in the world in terms of revenue as of July 2014. Corporate structure: CNPC is the government-owned parent company of publicly listed PetroChina, which was created on November 5, 1999 as part of the restructuring of CNPC. In the restructuring, CNPC injected into PetroChina most of the assets and liabilities of CNPC relating to its hydrocarbon exploration and production, refining and marketing, chemicals and natural gas businesses. CNPC and PetroChina develop overseas assets through a joint venture, CNPC Exploration and Development Company, which is 50% owned by PetroChina. In March 2014, CNPC Chairman Zhou Jinping announced that CNPC would be opening 6 business units to private investors. History: unlike Chinese Petroleum Corporation, which was ceded to Taiwan with establishment of the Republic of China, CNPC can be traced from the beginning as a governmental department of the People's Republic of China government. In 1949, the Chinese government formed a fuel industry ministry dedicated to the management of fuel. In January 1952 a division of the Fuel Ministry was formed to manage petroleum exploration and mining, called the Chief Petroleum Administration Bureau. In July 1955 a new ministry was created to replace the Fuel Industry Ministry, called the Ministry of Petroleum. From 1955 to 1969, approximately 4 oil fields were found in 4 areas in Qinghai, Heilongjiang, Bohai Bay and Songlao Basin. CNPC was created on September 17, 1988, when the government decided to create a state-owned company to handle all petroleum activities in China and disbanded the Ministry of Petroleum. CNPC's international operations began in 1993. The CNPC subsidiary SAPET signed a service contract with the government of Peru to operate Block 7 in the Tulara Province Basin. This was followed by an oil contract with the government of Sudan to manage Block 14 in the Muglad oil field. In August 2005 it was announced that CNPC agreed to buy the Alberta-based PetroKazakhstan for $4.18 billion, then the largest overseas acquisition by a Chinese company. The acquisition went through on October 26, 2005 after a Canadian court turned down an attempt by Lukoil to block the sale. In 2006 67% of shares were sold from the parent company to PetroChina. In June 1997, the company bought a 60.3% stake in the Aktob Oil Company of Kazakhstan, and in July 1997 CNPC won an oil contract for the Intercampo oil field and East Caracoles oil field in Venezuela. In July 1998, the government restructured the company in accordance with the upstream and downstream principle of the oil industry, and CNPC spun off most of its domestic assets into a separate company, PetroChina. On November 5, 2007, HK-listed PetroChina was listed as an A share in the Shanghai Stock Exchange. In July 2013, CNPC and Eni signed a $4.2 billion deal to acquire a 20% stake in a Mozambique offshore natural gas block. In June 2014, the head of a key China National Petroleum subsidiary was recalled to Beijing, and fell from public view. Replacement of China National Petroleum's top representative in Canada was announced in July. Operations: CNPC holds proven reserves of 3.7 billion barrels of oil equivalent. In 2007, CNPC produced 54 billion cubic meters of natural gas. CNPC has 30 international exploration and production projects with operations in Azerbaijan, Canada, Iran, Indonesia, Myanmar, Oman, Peru, Sudan, Niger, Thailand, Turkmenistan, and Venezuela. The exploration projects, both domestic and overseas, are run by a wholly owned subsidiary, the Great Wall Drilling Company. Iraq. In March 2009, CNPC began development of Ardab, an oil field in Wasit Governorate holding a modest 1 billion barrels, becoming the first significant foreign investors in Iraq. The project progressed despite security problems with local farmers. Dozens of farmers complained of damage to property because of work on the site, and Iraqi oil officials claimed thievery from the oil site by local farmers. ODAB is not expected to be a major profit center, earning the company a projected 1% profit, but the field was seen as an entry strategy into Iraq. Following ODAB, CNPC obtained a production contract during the 2009-2010 Iraqi Oil Services Contracts tender to develop the much larger Rumaila field with joint venture partner BP, which contains an estimated 17.8 billion barrels of oil. It is expected that crude oil production from Rumaila will expand by 10% by the end of 2010 once the BP plc CNPC consortium takes over development of the field in June 2010. The contract was also awarded to a consortium led by CNPC, including Total and PetroChina for the Hafaya field in the south of Iraq, which contains an estimated 4.1 billion barrels of oil. Iran CNPC became increasingly involved in development of Iranian oil fields following Western sanctions that targeted the Iranian oil and gas sectors, leading many European energy companies such as Shell Oil, Repsol, etc. to shut down operations in Iran. The CNPC along with SINWIC has been involved in various projects relating to Iran oil gas development. As of 2011, CNPC has been developing Iran's age-old Mazd Soliman oil field, the oldest oil field of the Middle East, together with Iranian counterpart NIOC in a deal worth $200 million. Production from this particular oil field was expected to increase in 2011 from 2,500 barrels a day to 25,000 barrels after the completion of the first phase, and to 55 million barrels d following the completion of Phase 2 of the project. Syria CNPC with Indian state oil firm, ONGC created a joint venture to acquire minority stakes ranging from about 33.3% to 38% in several mature Syrian oil and natural gas properties. The combined entity was a notable instance of cooperation between two state oil firms that regularly competed for assets around the world. Kazakhstan CNPC is heavily involved in the development of Kazakh oil after the acquisition of Alberta-based PetroChina, a company with all operations in Kazakhstan. The company was purchased for $4.18 billion. Political resistance in Kazakhstan to the deal was placated by the sale of a minority stake in PetroChina by CNPC to Kazmunegaz, the Kazakh state-owned oil company. Uzbekistan In 2006, CNPC formed an international consortium with state-run Uzbekneftgaz, Lukoil Overseas, PetroChina, and Korea National Oil Corporation to explore and develop oil and gas fields in the Aral Sea. Xinjiang Pipeline In October 2004, CNPC began construction of a pipeline from the Middle East to Xinjiang. Afghanistan In December 2011, Afghanistan signed a deal with CNPC for the development of oil blocks in the Darya Basin, a project expected to earn billions of dollars over 2 decades. The deal covers drilling and a refinery in the northern provinces of Zarepol and Faryab and is the first international oil production agreement entered into by the Afghan government for several decades. South Sudan CNPC is a major investor in South Sudan's oil sector. The company is major stockholder in Petroda and Greater Nile Petroleum Operating Company consortiums. Russia In May 2014, a 30-year deal between Russia's Gazprom and China National Petroleum Corporation, which was 10 years in the making, was estimated worth $400 billion. The agreement was signed at a summit in Shanghai and is expected to deliver some 38 billion cubic meters of natural gas a year, starting around 2018, to China's burgeoning economy. New Zealand CNPC operated in New Zealand as CCDC Drilling and had one drilling rig, a triple-stand DC rig named Rig 43. CCDC NZ started workover drilling operations in the Kapuni gas fields of South Taranaki, New Zealand in late 2012 for tight gas. The rig completed the Kapuni drilling campaign of 4 wells for STOS in August 2013. Its next drilling project commenced August 2013 for tag oil with one well successfully drilled at Kiel Sea of a depth of just under 5,000 m. The rig was then stood down pending appeals for the next stage of a drilling campaign for tag oil in March 2014. Due to the periods involved, it was decided to end its drilling campaign in New Zealand. Rig 43 was then dismantled and shipped to other overseas locations and no longer operates in New Zealand. Accidents and incidents. 2003 gas leak in Chongqing. On December 23, 2003, a gas blowout occurred at the Luja No. 16H gas well. 243 people died, 2,142 were hospitalized. Jilin chemical plant. In 2005, there were explosions at a CNPC-owned petrochemical plant causing 6 deaths, a mass evacuation, and a massive oil spill over the Singwa River. Gas pipeline explosion in Sichuan. A gas pipeline exploded on January 20, 2006 in Sichuan. Reportedly, 9 were killed and nearly 40 injured. 2006 gas leak in Chongqing. A leak occurred on March 25, 2006 in the Luja No. 2 gas well. The third attempt 6 days after the blowout succeeded. 15,000 were evacuated. Chishi River diesel spill. In 2009 a CNPC pipeline burst, spilling 150 m3 of diesel oil into the Chishi River in Shaanxi Province. Xinjiang port oil spill. In July 2010, 2 pipelines exploded at an oil storage depot belonging to China National Petroleum Corporation near Dalian's Xinjiang Harbor in Liaoning Province, which spilled an estimated 1,500 tons of crude into the sea. The worst of the spill initially covered 180 kilometers too. Suspension of operations in Chad. The operations of a CNPC subsidiary in Chad were entirely suspended in August 2013 by the Counter-Euro-Unregistered Trademark S government after it violated environmental standards while drilling for crude oil in the south of the country. See also: List of oil spills, CNPC, petroleum industry in China. References. External links: CNPC official website, CNPC company profile at Yahoo Finance, Noriko Yodogawa and Alexander M. Peterson, An Opportunity for Progress, China, Central Asia, and the Energy Charter Treaty, 8 Texas Journal of Oil, Gas, and Energy Law 111.